Hello and welcome to What Map, the map review show for Cities Skylines. There are tens of thousands of maps in the workshop now, and so finding the right one for your next build is a huge task. So each day, Monday to Saturday, we'll review one, using our 5-star rating for aesthetics, detail and gameplay potential, awarding only the very best the coveted seal of approval. So join me, fellow Skylines explorers, as we venture to today's new land. Who am I? I'm BonBonB, and you are very, very welcome.
Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to Tuesday's What Map. BonBon here, how are you doing? And today it's a creator request, and don't forget you can pop your requests down in the comments below on Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, basically wherever I exist you can request. There are no strict rules. Today's map is Ludlow, Washington by yetimade. That I do believe is Washington in Northwest America, I do believe, not Washington DC, and that's Ludlow in America, not Ludlow in Shropshire, which is a lovely place. There's your start square. Slightly off from centre, as you'll see here on the map. There you go, just slightly off centre. No problem with that, that works fine for me. Very happy with that as a start location. Let's have a look at the Steam Workshop. If you have a look on the workshop, there's nothing to subscribe to. It's a suggested theme, and I'm using the realistic LUT to go with the realistic theme as well. However, we will come back to that a little bit later. There is a problem, a little problem, but a problem nonetheless. So anyway, we'll zoom along. This is the one highway connection. There are a couple of other connections. We'll look at those shortly. But in terms of 3 multi-laned highways, this is the only one. It does end up at the start square. Got a little bit of chopped tree detailing. Now, chopped tree detailing, I'm pretty sure, isn't vanilla, which means that they are not going to appear if you haven't already subscribed to them. Got a little bit of, is that clipping into the live not live rail, the catenary over the overhanging live wires? Is that touching? It's very hard to tell. I think it might be. There's a problem with your trees. If they're overhanging the line, you might have like that one there. Now that one's okay, that's too low, that's not actually in the wires, so I'd allow that one. But I think the first one was probably just touching the live wire, which would cause a shortage, and then you'd have no trains running. But anyway, yes, some of these assets are definitely not vanilla. The rail, by the way, we're looking at the rail as well as the roads, because the rail and the roads run parallel all the way on this map, so we're not going to take a second look at these ones. I know there's one or two of you that don't like the rail running parallel with the roads. Well, tough titties, huh? Right, now, this is a national road connection which runs the entire length of the map. Now if you have a look, we have got the sound barriers up along the entire length, which I think first of all is quite odd that this road has got the sound barriers and yet the 3-lane highway doesn't, plus it's all the way. Now honestly, do you need sound barriers when you are running through the countryside? No. Not only that, you can't take in the view while you're driving. You've just got this barrier on either side, and so I think this is such a beautiful part of the world. It is a beautiful part of the world, by the way. I think the sound barriers really, I mean, for the city centres only, maybe some other locations, but I think that's a fail, especially as it is all the way. And yeah, we've got where it crosses the rail, and this might be based on real life, we've got a level crossing. This is at the moment, with the highway not being connected into the network, that is the main route, and I can see just about, well, I can just see constant tailbacks. There's your bridges, but actually perfect bridges, pretty much. Not perfectly level with each other, but I don't think that really matters that the rail and the road are perfectly level. They wouldn't necessarily be in real life, but the bridges are perfect bridges, so that's great. Anyway, as I was saying, oh, shall we move on from that? I think I'm nagged enough, don't you? I think so. Now, down here we've got a couple of issues. We've got trees glitching through. That one's actually probably okay. We can move along a little bit further, but glitching through the sound barrier. There you go. that's glitching through. So that's tree clipping. And had that sound barrier not been there, I would have been okay with that, because the traffic there's an even worse one. The traffic would basically clip that back every time a big truck drives past it. That would solve that. In real life, of course, in the Cities Skylines, it wouldn't actually make any piggy difference at all. I nearly said something ruder than that. I'm holding myself back. I'm being a good boy. Mummy listens to my show sometimes. At least I like to tell myself that. Anyway, yes. So anyway, the rail and the road run parallel all the way. Is that a little bit of... it looks a little jinky-janky, but honestly, I think that's okay. That's well within tolerance. That wouldn't cause any derailments or anything. Just a little bit awkward looking. Anyway, we're heading off towards the fog now. Now, if you look off to the fog, well, we've got this little connection that goes up there. We look up towards the fog. There's not much to see up there now. It's a straight line up and out. This, however, is a national road which is connecting here. Now, imagine you're turning onto this road. That sound barrier is causing visibility issues. I would definitely like to see that removed. Hugely. And then if you get to the top here, this will be a dead end with sound barrier around the top, which means it's time for, you guessed it, everybody's favourite. It's the asset review. Okay, right. Now today's asset review isn't so much an asset, it's a road. And if you can hear sirens in the background, yes. Yeah, no, they haven't come to take me away just yet. Okay, Suburban Street by Urbanist. I know it's a little bit of an irony that an urbanist is creating a suburban street, but look at these street corners. Look at them, the ramps there, allowing you to take your buggy or your wheelchair or your push bike or skateboard or whatever up and down the edges. These are really lovely. I like this. Okay, there's no road markings. And yes, you can use the vanilla tree remover to get rid of these horrible vanilla trees. That's a underused mod if ever I saw one. But these are lovely, very nice indeed. Not every street has to have street markings. And I think this is probably the best new street using the road editor that I've seen in a long time. So that is Suburban Street by the Urbanist, coughing away in the background. Or in the foreground, which was me, of course. Right, there's your shipping route. It just goes along the front of everything. And we'll have a little look at that in a minute. We just have a look at the water flow. Water flow is actually pretty good, okay? It's all downhill. They've pretty much built this into a proper hill system, pretty much. We've got a nice little bit of rock detailing there. Is there a water flow here? A very mild water flow going on. You can actually see the water flowing rather than the guideline arrows. And then over here, this is the secondary river or the firstly river, depending on which way you want to look at it. Nice island there, water flowing, big old lake, water movement in the lake as well, which is great. And then water flowing into the lake, no issues. Then the water comes out of the rivers and we seem to slow down to an almost nothing, which is where your sewage might start congealing. There's that word, congealing, again. Not a pretty thing. Right, now let's have a look at the map as a whole. We've got a couple of like a river basin build plains. This river's quite nice, I've got to say. A little bit of ziggy-zaggy, and then it gets a little bit rougher down here like this. I love the texture on this. As we head down, and then we got this island here. I think this island is absolutely moulded beautifully, sort of shape that that kind of island would be forced by the river. So I'm happy with that. A nice little bit of detailing on the end there with the rocks. Shame about the little bit of water glitching there. Not much that yetimade can do about it. It just is. Okay, and if we then go down to the next bit, we got, like I say, it's quite nice again. Here, I'm not so sold. The water carries on quite strongly that way, but then it also forces that direction, and I don't buy that so much. It doesn't feel natural. I'm not saying that this sort of junction, water junction, sort of splitting the water wouldn't be a realistic thing. It just doesn't feel on this particular map that that would have happened. So you have a look there. I think that water would have carried on by now, and that little connection there is a little bit of a, I don't know, a construct. There's the word I'm going to use, the construct. This particular river, as we head up, we got similar sort of issues with this river. It's lovely, I've got to say, beautifully built. And this island, perfect. That's the sort of shape island I would expect to see in the middle of that river. Very happy with that. Then we come up here and we got the lake, and there's this big long island lake, which is an odd shape. Now I'm guessing this is based on real life, so who am I to criticise? But for me, I don't buy it. It just doesn't seem that that would exist there. This little island's there, the Bear Island possibly, but this island I don't know. I'm not being sold on it. Okay, a little bit of creative license. Anyway, the river carries on up to the top where you've got a big old lake type thing at the top there as well, which is great. Okay, now bill planes, loads of bill plane. The hills are alive with the sound of bill planes. You can get right up into these hills. These are very nice. It's fairly steep, but buildable steep. Okay, a little bit of terraforming could allow you to do some stuff there. And then if we nip over the harbour and have a look at the mountains on the other side. Now these mountains are a bit more rugged on this side. Once again, the texturing is a good choice. The can look a bit watercolourish, but when you get in a bit closer, they look rocky. I like it. Okay, so that sums up that. Now let's have a look at some detailing. Okay, so if we head up this road, you've seen this already, I know, we're going up the same road again. When we get to the top, you see here it's like loggers country, yeah? I agree, it's a loggers country, but there is a little bit of detailing up here, if I can find it. Where are you? Where are you? Yeah, there it is, look. There, it's like a loggers camp-ish. Okay, you've got some planks and some felled trees and a little bit of rubbish pile going. Rubbish pile is on fire. Now, the fire, of course, is not vanilla. I'm not sure the planks are vanilla either, or the rubbish pile. Those things you need to subscribe to, and they are not appearing in the required assets. So, if you haven't already subscribed to those things, then that will not appear for you, and I wonder if there's anything up there which I've not subscribed to which just isn't appearing. The next bit of detailing, if we look down here on this big island that I don't buy into, we've got this little rowboat, but just up that pull in there, I've had a look at the cinematics that's been provided by yetimade. There's a tent in amongst those trees, and of course I've not subscribed to any tents. And once again, it hasn't appeared in the required assets. So once again, it's not something I won't have seen. Now over here on this foggy island, unfortunately, we'll talk about the cloud toggler in a second, but we've got a few bits and pieces. We've got there's kind of like a picnic table and a satellite, and there's even an abandoned car in the trees there, and we've got the power lines. Once again, I don't know what's missing from that, because once again, these are not vanilla assets. So who knows? There's that rowboat again. Unfortunately, I can't switch off the clouds at the moment. Cloud toggler isn't toggling. It basically at the moment is staying on or staying off depending on what the setting was when I actually load the game. Don't know what the cause is there, and I'll worry about that later. Anyway, we have finally the essential lighthouse. That location, I think I prefer it on the end of that. But before we have a look at that, this, however, this would make a great marina. Okay, you can't get shipping into here because of the way that it's all angled and the shipping routes don't go into it. But I think a marina, although it might be a bit of a water hazard getting out with those two rivers there, I think that would be a nice place for marina. Yes, the essential lighthouse. Good detailing, I like it. Liking the rocks at the end of the outcrop there, that's all good. And I think it blends in quite nicely there. But like I say, the location, it's not too bad. I think I would have preferred it at the end, on here maybe, would be probably a better location. But especially once you start doing building and then you get buildings blocking. Like, it is an abandoned lighthouse, but that is just my take on it. How I perceive these things when the lighthouse would have been built originally. Final bit of detailing down here somewhere. Here it is. We've got this. Now, I don't know exactly what this is supposed to be. I'm suspecting it used to be like a Bronze Age, like a dome house. You know, the earth-built houses that are all grassy over the top that might have collapsed in. Like the scorch marks in the middle here. And no, they're not scorch marks, but they're kind of like where there were fires, I'm guessing. I think it's very clever. I like it. It's my favourite part of the map, actually. I don't know exactly what it's supposed to be, but I'm thinking that this was a Bronze Age hill thing. Up here we've got the bare trees. Once again, if you're not subscribed to them already, they will not appear. And up here we've got some logging that's been going on, and there's also the other tree. There's the loggings, of course. The other trees are not vanilla. These little bushes here are not vanilla. So I wonder how much of this map will disappear if you haven't actually subscribed to, because those trees are definitely not vanilla. So I don't know, guys. I really don't know. I wish I had an answer for you. I'm not going to unsubscribe and reload the map just to check it out. I'm checking it out with what I've got already subscribed to, and there's your thing. So let's settle down. Settle down somewhere about there. Right, aesthetically, I think the map's okay. Okay, I think there's one or two things I'm not so keen on, like island shapes and stuff like that. But I think overall, I think it's definitely worth a 4th star. Detailing, I think the detailing work that I've seen is not bad. Okay, I think it's probably once again worth a 4th star. However, with those missing assets, I don't know. I'll give it the 4th star, but I don't know. Gameplay potential, I think there's quite a lot you can do with this, but there are things to fix first, and there are things that you need to find out what's subscribing to, and blah blah blah. I'm giving it 3 stars for gameplay potential on the premise that it could be a 4th star if fixed. Ludlow, Washington by yetimade, and that is today's creator request map. Right, well, thanks for watching, commenting, liking and subscribing, and thanks to all my Patreon followers who get to vote on Friday's map. I wonder what map they're going to choose for us, huh? So you can join me over there if you want to vote, if you want to get your name in there as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.